Okay, so moving on to step number 7, the expert recommends. At the end of the day, you're supposed to be the expert to them. Even if you're young, you're green, you're inexperienced, you are the one that's the hero. You're the doctor, you're the champion, you're the one who's saving them from their frustration and stress. They're looking at you to have the answers. You have to present that confidence, competence, and control. There's a lot of verbiage in step 7, because in step 7 we're coming back and presenting what we found to Mrs. Jones in step 6. Now there's going to be a lot of things that's going on here. Possibly somewhere in step 6 we just had one little task that we needed to get fixed so that the system could get up and running, and then we went back to our total comfort diagnosis to finish diagnosing. But at the end of the day, in step 7, we're coming back not just to talk about the one thing that's broken, but present everything that we found. And now finally in step 7, present solutions to the pains that they spoke to in step 4. So before this, we don't ever present options. In this scenario, however, we're able to go back and listen to what they said to us from step 4. And this is just candidly, substantial number of technicians are guys. Substantial number of the homeowners that we're dealing with at the time are women. And just overarchingly, often what women say about men, what my wife says about me, is that I don't listen. One of the best things we can do to show that we are listening, that we hear them, that we empathize with them, is we reference something that they told us 30 minutes ago. Mrs. Jones, while I was going through the total comfort diagnosis, I found this. I also remember that you said that was something that was important for you to look at that we fixed today. I know that you also alluded to the fact that if we were able to fix it, it would really benefit you with that. As such, my recommendation is that we go with this product or that product. This one gives us that one benefits us that. Which one of those makes sense to you? We're giving an alternative choice tied to something that they said that they needed or wanted earlier. Extremely important that we're doing that with everything that we do in this scenario. This is why it broke, or this is what's broken. This is why it broke. This is what could break in the future. And also based on what you said about what you need or want, these are a couple of other things that you said are important to you that we addressed today. Do you guys see that by doing this in this way, we're actually coming back with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things sometimes that she has said that she needs or wants, as opposed to just what's broken. So in this, it's in the presenting. One of the reasons we have a total comfort diagnosis as a piece of paper, or in this case, an iPad, is because it gives us a third-party bad guy. Same with the menu price guide. If the menu price guide says that the price on that task is $423, who's the bad guy in that scenario? Well, this stupid iPad, right? It's not me. If I don't have an iPad and it's just me going, Mrs. Jones, yeah, it's going to be $423. You're the bad guy. You're the one who's taking her money. Same with the total comfort diagnosis. Mrs. Jones, I looked at your capacitor, I looked at your motor, I took this rating, etc. This diagnosis is what is the bad guy, not you. She doesn't feel like you're trying to pull one over on her. This is what we found. Now, interestingly enough, this is where we get into a repair versus replace scenario. Is it in the best interest of the customer every single time you talk to them to offer a brand new system? It's not, is it? We don't want to be people who sell new systems to people who don't need them. What we want to do is take a customer through a process of evaluating what their current cost is to keep their system with its frustrations going, as opposed to investing possibly in a new solution that can give them everything they want for a financing cost. Now again, we're not doing the sales job here, but what we want to do is often evaluate, listen, if this is an $800, $1,000, $1,500 ticket, we might even just at that point start talking about the replacement opportunity with Mrs. Jones. Or if it's an 8, 10, 12, 14-year-old system, listen, the SEER rating on that alone is worth it enough for us to at least broach the topic. Now, one of the ways we can do that, we talk in the scripting, and you'll hear this, is, Mrs. Jones, obviously the repair today is around $1,423. That being said, do you feel like it makes sense for us to look at a brand new system that is no obligation, no charge evaluation, that would solve all those problems that you're talking about, and we could have somebody come out this afternoon and work with you to make sure that's not necessarily the best solution for you, something in that vein. Now, if they say something to the effect of, no, listen, I could get another $500, 6 years out of the system, don't you think? Well, sure. Mrs. Jones, you could get 3, 4, 5, maybe more years out of this. But wouldn't you agree with me that there's a cost attached to getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years out of this? Sure. Would you be willing to go through a repair versus replace calculator with me to evaluate what it costs to keep this current system in its current state, as opposed to looking at replacing it? So that's on the iPad. It's on Service Titan tool. You're able to go in there and use it. But what's really important is this: it doesn't do the math for you. Here's a reason why. Psychologically, if I have my hidden numbers with my secret iPad that's got my own code, and I say, listen, by investing into a new replacement unit today, you could save beep boop bop, ooh, $3,200. Do you as the customer trust what's going on with me? No. There's no trust there, right? So how it works is this: you take a calculator, not even your cell phone, you get yourself a cheap calculator. Cost you 99 cents at the dollar store. Say, hey, Mrs. Jones, here's a calculator. Let's go through these numbers together, and you type them in as y'all go through the process. So, Mrs. Jones, how many more years do you think we could get out of the system? 3? She says 3. If she says 12, you put 12. She says 1, you put 1. You take her numbers. You don't say, oh, you're wrong, you could get 6. Let her numbers dictate what goes on, because when her numbers on the top, when you get to the bottom number, whose number is it?
Hers.
Her numbers. You allow her to tell you go through times this many years, times this advantage plans, and whatever number you come with at the bottom, that's her number. Mrs. Jones, based on the numbers you told me, it looks like for us to keep this current system, it's going to be about $2,842, $4,212, whatever the number is. As opposed to looking at free, no cost estimate, do a full heat gain, heat loss evaluation of your home to not just keep this current system limping along, but basically give you the brand new system that you've wanted. And we do financing as well. Is that something you're interested in? Again, not high pressure, but education. When they see that number might be high, it might be low. They might see a $200 number and say, yes, I want a new system. They might see a $9,000 number and say, no, I still want to keep this old one. That's their call. It's not up for us to decide for them. It's up for us to equip that buffet of opportunity for them, and they choose. What we don't want is them making uninformed, uneducated decisions. That's what the repair versus replace calculator does for us. At that time, it doesn't matter if we're doing one job and doing more later, or if we're doing 12 jobs at that point. We say, yes, yes ma'am, yes sir, I'm going to get this taken care of, and we'll solve this and get you taken care of to the highest degree of customer service. Now, interestingly enough, in the menu price guide, there is incentive for them to do more tasks today because there's less cost. If you came out and did 3 tasks over 3 different trips, there's more cost, there's more gas, there's more time. But there's incentive for them to go ahead and do those 3 tasks today. When we say give 3 recommendations at least on every single service invoice, the reason we're doing that is because you're actually saving them money. And especially if you do it in a way that they value it, they're saving on things that they want that would cost them sometimes $200, $300, $400 more if you came back and did it 3 separate times. It's not for just your benefit that we give them recommendations. It's for theirs. Extremely important we understand that.